status at line level. So previously in UniField, all documents were managed with header or document level. What do I mean by that? It means here I have an instance, let's say instance A. It can be you're from the project, it can be that you're also coming in from coordination. It really doesn't matter, just the instance and how it's going to function with the new version 7. So we have a UniField instance A, it can be project or coordination. And as we know, projects can also create field orders. Let's say if they want to give donation to another project or if they want to send something to coordination, you have the possibility of creating a field order. So in an instance A, it created a field order 18 NLXY with field order 861. Of course, you put in the analytical distribution and then you come to the field order and you validate it. In the order sourcing tool, if the field order had like 3 items you wanted to source and you only knew one supplier to source your first item and you did not have any commitment from another supplier to source the remaining 2 items, UniField was blocking you from proceeding or creating purchase orders until you fully sourced all your lines that were linked to your field order. And the same mechanism is also for IR. So if you had an internal request, let's say you're in the project or coordination and you had a request from the pharmacist, like we want to have some diazepam and paracetamol, and you knew for sure from APU and the other paracetamol you wanted to just get it from a pharmacy, UniField, and you do not know which pharmacy it was or you're not so sure about your sourcing option, UniField will not let you create the purchase order for the diazepam for APU until you made a decision how you are going to source the second item, which was the paracetamol. Was when UniField would create for you the purchase order. So in this case, there's a field order and it needed to go to 2 suppliers, 2 purchases. So UniField created for you all the purchase orders. So here we have purchase order 19 and purchase order 20 that were linked to the FO 861. So there wasn't any partial sourcing possibility before. Even when we would look at the purchase order section, so let's have a look at purchase order 19. You had a couple of lines and you wanted to source it to, let's say, a local supplier, and you said, okay, this is the PO for the local supplier, and you called your supplier and you told you, I'm going to give you these items at this amount of price, and you went into UniField, you encoded the price of the lines, you went around and got your signatures, then you came back to the system and you validated your purchase order number 19. You could not continue fully confirm your purchase order number 19 until you went and processed purchase order number 20. So your new status for purchase order 19 was actually indicating confirmed waiting. So no incoming shipments were generated because UniField wanted you to go and fully confirm all the POs that were linked to your 1FO. So now we've looked at partial sourcing was not possible, and also partial confirmation of a purchase order was not possible. Your PO would be stuck and it will not generate any incoming shipment until you went to your PO number 20, looked at your lines, went to your supplier, asked the prices, you encoded the prices to the relevant people who needed to get signatories, and confirmed with the supplier regarding the delivery date. Then you went into UniField and confirmed it. Only after you had confirmed your second PO number 20, the status of 19 just went automatically from confirmed waiting, it just switched to confirmed. And of course, after confirmation of a purchase order, what is created? We have a commitment voucher, we have incoming shipments that are generated. So this is how the mechanism of UniField was. No partial confirmation in the order sourcing area. So here you could not partially confirm, and nor could you partially confirm your purchase orders. So long as it was the PO that was linked to the A4 861, you are not allowed to move on line level. That's why we say everything was merged on the document level and not on the line level. I hope that's clear. So what do we have right now with the new system? How will it look like? What is the difference between what was there before and what we're going to have right now? So with the new version 7, it's now possible to partially source and partially confirm documents. So that's why it's called status at line level. We are now moving from the header, and we are switching also down into the line level. How is it going to look like? Let's look at the same instance A, right? So you had your field order 861, still we can use the same. And you go and you put your analytical distribution and you validate your field order. You move on to the order sourcing tool. And in the order sourcing tool, you say, item number 1, I definitely know I'm going to buy it from the local market. It's timber. Purchaser can go to the local market and you proceed and you actually create your purchase order number 19 for local markets and give your purchaser to go and proceed and buy the items, while the rest of the 2 items, so the beds and the blanket, are still stuck in the order sourcing tool until you know who's your supplier, until you go back and source the lines. So now you can proceed with the PO number 19, look at the prices, put in and code the prices, and continue and ask for signatories, validate it in the system, confirm it after you've gotten your information from your supplier on when they can deliver the goods, and then your incoming shipment is generated. You can even proceed and process your incoming shipment. Have in mind the rest of the items, 2 items, are still in the order sourcing tool. So even after like a few hours or a day or 2, you still want to proceed with your pending items, you can come back to the order sourcing tool and make a decision and say, oh, actually this bed and this blanket, I know a supplier who I can buy it from. Come to the order sourcing tool, you make your decision about which supplier you want to send it to. You create your purchase order number 20. You come there, you go and encode the prices. You move around and ask for signatures from the people who should be doing the signatures, and they sign it. And you come into the system and you validate in UniField, and then you confirm after you get your delivery confirm date from your supplier, and automatically you have your commitment voucher created and your incoming shipment created. And you can proceed and process your incoming shipment. So that's what is going to be the newest change you will see in UniField. The possibility of partially sourcing and partially confirming your documents. Any question? Why don't we go and have a look at the system? Share with you the UniField version 7 link. You will see there are a couple of databases that we can choose from. So I log on to Daka and you do admin, and I will access it. I will use a password that I've given you before. I will start with the field order, then I will source it, then I will go to the purchase order, and then we'll confirm it, and then we'll create an incoming shipment. I just want to show you how it's going to look like in the partial confirmation, partial sourcing, and partial confirmation. So I will go and do the orders, and I will create a field order. So this is more like a push field order. I'm sending it to the project. So I click on the field orders, and I will say I want to have a new field order. This doesn't change. The header information is still the same as what we had before. Order type, I just want to have a regular one, and I want to have, let's say it's a medical category. I will choose the customer, and I'm going to add multiple items. I will choose around 3 items to add onto my field order so that I can show you how it's going to look like when we make selection of different suppliers. I'll do medical, drugs. Just click on the search. It's not so many. So yeah, and I will click select, and I will do the quantity on this window. I will do 100 there. I will do 60. I'll do 1,000. And then I'm going to add the products onto my field order. Yeah, so I have my field order. Another new thing that you will see is the green buttons next to each line. And if you hover or if you stay on top of the line that these are, you can validate the line itself. What I want to say very strongly is we are not going to validate on line level, meaning I don't want to have my field order 1728 and come in the field order and say I'm only going to validate the last item and make a PO for it. Validation will still stay on header level. By that I mean it's still going to stay on document level. You validate the whole document. You don't validate part of the document, so the lines. So in the PO stage, also, we're not going to be validating the small lines and say, I'm only going to validate line number 1, and from line number 2 till 20, I'm not going to do the validation. I will do it later. No, we still print out the PO with all the lines, and we go to the people who need to validate and they who need to sign, and they sign it, and then we come back to UniField and validate the document. This still stays the same. We still there's nothing that has changed here. So I say that is going to go to ops, and it's going to go there, and I am going to save the line, and I'll save down here also, and my analytical should be fine. So my analytical distribution is valid from header, so that's good. If I come down and say I want to validate line number 3, you will see the status that we will get. Look at this. You already see that line number 3 has been validated. Meaning that if I go to the order sourcing tool, I should be able to see number 3. And by principle, I can proceed and make a PO for it. But what we are saying is this is going to be restricted. So the user rights you're going to get on Monday will not allow you to do line validation. You can only partially source and partially confirm. Yeah. So let's just validate. What we want to do is validate the lines. So we validate on document level. So I click on the validate, and I can now go to my order sourcing tool. It's field order 1728, and I can come to order sourcing tool, and there's something different also here. So before, we used to have 3 filters here. We used to have need sourcing, in progress, and sourced. So now we only have 2 filters. We have need sourcing and sourced. And I will come here to my filter, and I want to see only the field order I have done right now, and that is, and I want to do partial sourcing. So we had the field order, and we went to the first item and we clicked. We knew the supplier we wanted, and we proceeded and sourced it to that supplier. Have a look at what happens here. You have now a message that shows you filled the PO 3,310 for the supplier Square Pharmaceuticals has been created. So in fact, I can decide I want to go ahead and process this PO. So I will go, and I have my purchase order there that has been created, and I say, I want to buy it from here. I know for sure that this chlorine, it's going to go for this amount, and I want to proceed and buy it from that supplier. If you talk to your supplier and they tell you like this is we need to talk about the price and this is the actual price, of course you can click on the pencil and you can come and edit the price itself. But because I know we all know this, I will not do that, and I will continue and say you print it out, and you go and you get your signatures, and you come back into UniField, and you can proceed and validate your lines. And once you validate your lines, you find out from the supplier when are you going to deliver for me the items, and then you come, of course, to the delivery tab, and on the delivery tab you can come, of course, to the delivery confirm date, and supplier tells you I'll give it to you in a week's time, and you indicate it there. The new thing, or the thing that we have to do now, is we have to apply it to all lines. We have to apply it to the line. Because if I just indicate the date here, as I have done, I have not clicked anything. And if I come to the purchase order tab and I look at my line, you see here on the delivery confirmed date area, I can highlight it. Here on the delivery confirmed date area, there is the date I'd put on the delivery tab, it's not reflected here. So see, there's a date 18th of January I had indicated, but when I come back to my line, you see it's not indicated here. Even if I come and click on the save button, still you'll see that the date will not transfer to the line itself. Then what do I have to do? What I have to do is I have to come to the delivery tab once again. I have to, after you've put the information here, 18th of January, I have to come and say apply to the lines. Of course, it's going to apply to all the lines. So if you have a purchase order that has different days that the supplier needs to deliver, then you have to come to the line level, indicate the delivery confirmed date there. Okay, so it's been signed. Supplier said, yes, we are going to give it to you in 1 week time. What do I need to do? I need to confirm my lines. So here I come and I click confirm lines. And now this is the partial confirmation we were talking about. You can now partially confirm. Have a look at it. It tells me my PO number 3,310 is now actually confirmed. I have my commitment voucher that has been created. I have my incoming shipment 3292 ready for me to process. And I can go to the incoming shipment and I can process it, and my goods will the goods will go to the pick pack ship location, and I can proceed to the very end. Okay, so here we have the PO. You remember we still had a couple of things that was still in the order sourcing tool. So I've gone to the order sourcing tool and I still have my items that I have not decided where I want to purchase. So I can come here, I can select the lines, and I can say I want to source these lines, and for sure I do want them to go to APU, or I can come and change it and say I want it to go to the local market and or global brand, and I save and source my items, and you'll see UniField is going to create me bloop another purchase order created 3311. If I come to the purchase application, I will find my purchase order 33311 here, and I can continue and validate it, confirm it, and get my incoming shipment. Any question? There's a little bit of information I still want to explain. So with this new mechanism, with the status at line level, there will be no longer the need to have the status of, in the purchase order, in the field orders and purchase orders, we would have dash -1 to indicate these are the orders that are, or items that are bought from an EAC, meaning maybe APU, or -2 indicating these are the things that are coming from stock, or -3 indicating these are the things that have been purchased from external suppliers. That is not going to be there anymore. So you will just have your PO as is. So let's have a look. Your field orders are just going to be field order 1728. But you might ask, why do I still see -3 here, -3 here, -1, -1? These are the items that were migrated. So the documents that you have that you have right now in your system that have this prefix are going to still exist. So you will still have the -1, -2, -3. But with every new document that is created after Monday, you will have it will not have that. So, and even this one that have been migrated, like this one was under the migrated and it was in draft, and I continue, you'll still be able to do partial sourcing and partial confirmation. So the mechanism will apply to everything that is migrated. So Monday, your documents will be migrated to this mechanism, but the prefixes -1, -2, -3 are still going to exist. Cancel and resourcing is also going to work differently. So now what do we have? Let's imagine we had an incoming shipment, and at this stage in the reception, when I have my incoming shipment number 18, my supplier says, I'm very sorry, I don't think I can deliver these goods to you. I'm sorry, I cannot. My warehouse is burnt. What do you do? In right now with UniField, you can cancel and resource, right? So you come to your incoming shipment and you say, I want to cancel this incoming shipment and I'm going to look for another supplier. What does UniField do? UniField comes in here and it creates another field order 862. Forgive my writing skills. It creates field order 862, and then it adds the item that were here into this new field order, and this new field order will have in itself in the header reference of the old. It says origin document was 861. You know this, right? So what's going to happen right now with UniField, the new version, is that once you cancel and resource, you say, I'm not going to buy from this supplier. These items are just going to be taken back to the order sourcing tool, and they will still be in the original field order. The 861 will still be existing, and these items will come onto the order sourcing tool and waiting for you to say, okay, then I am going to create another PO. I'm going to make another PO 20 to this another new supplier, and then you have your incoming shipment created, incoming shipment 19 created. The document, all the buttons that you have are still going to be there. Only after you fully made your choices with all the lines is when your header document is going to change. So if there was one line that was you had processed all the way to incoming shipment, and you change and you cancel it and you resource it, and it's taken back to the order sourcing tool for you to choose another new supplier, your original field order or IR will never change its status to, let's say, closed until you've finished sourcing that whole line. So until you've gone back to the order sourcing tool, selected a new supplier, made a purchase order, validated it and received it in your warehouse or distributed it, is only then is when your original IR is going to change its. There are, however, new statuses that are going to be there with UniField version 7 on the line level and header level. So do you have any question first before I go into this detail of the line level status? Any question? Anyone has a question? If I go to my IR 1358, I open it. IR 1358 has a new status, P. So with the new version of UniField, you will see that you have actually now different statuses with the documents that you have in UniField. So I'm going to share with you also the quick reference card. So if you have in the field order or internal request validated P, this means that all lines at minimum validated, but some and not all are in the status after validated. So meaning you've validated your documents, but some of them are either have been sourced, or some of them have not been sourced. So IR that we had here, the first item is written sourced and the second item is sourced, but another one is in validate state. And if I come to my the same internal request 1358 and I source the last item and I source, if I come back to my internal request, it's changed to sourced. It only changed to sourced once all the lines sourced, sourced, sourced appeared here. But there are different reasons why you have different status. You have a line level, of course. I mean, on this level here, this is line level. You might have resourced D, or you might have resourced V. That means that this item was once cancelled and resourced, and now it's in validated state. So you will have different statuses on the header level and on the line level. And if you get a little bit confused, you can always refer to this quick reference card on what it actually means. So I will proceed with the cancel and resource. I'll click on incoming shipments. And let's just take the first one, Square Pharmaceuticals. And it's originating from a field order. So I know that actually there's a project who had ordered for this item. I can proceed and process, but you also have this button written cancel. If I do cancel, then it will just cancel this line and it will cancel it on all the other documents that were before. I click cancel and resource because I still want to buy it. Let's say supplier cannot deliver any more. No stock in warehouse. And then I say cancel incoming shipment. And C, shipment, because it was meant to go to the field, and it tells me this in reception 3292 has been cancelled. And the original PO 3310, which is this one, 3310, is 0% received. We still need to give it to the field. What do we do then? You need to come back to the field orders. It's resourced V. You see, this is a line that we had actually cancelled and resourced in the last incoming shipment. And it came here and it's telling me like, oh, actually line number 4 was not part of the original one. This is a resourced line. If you see this, then you know that there was one point where we were almost buying it from somebody and we had to cancel and change our decision. But where is number 1? Why can we not see number 1? It's because we have this filter that is up here. If I come here and say show all, it's going to show me everything. So it will show me, look at that, line number 1, the chlorine of 100 that you had requested it on 11th and that supplier told you I'm going to give it to you next week was actually cancelled. It was cancelled and -R and resourced. That's why I'm going to send this one to everybody so that they can also see what the status means. So it's the last one, cancelled R, which you will see in field orders. You'll be able to see it in IRs and in the POs. Is that the lines have been cancelled and resourced. Okay, so when you see cancelled R, you know that this line was previously cancelled and has now been resourced and has been resourced to a new line still in the original FO with resourced V. So if you're not so sure what resourced V means, you just come to this document and you see that it's actually a new line that has been resourced and has been validated. Validated meaning it was validated in this original field order number 1728. Is that clear? So that means I can go back again to my order sourcing tool. If I proceed here and say source the line, it's going to make for me a new purchase order for the local market 3315. Yeah. That's what I wanted to explain. Do you have any question?